taking Jane on an escalator for the first time. You guys have heard me talk about how important it is to stay with your dog. Well, that's because a dog can pull you back, and then they could get their little tail stuck in. All kinds of things can happen. I knew Jane wasn't going anywhere. She's little. And so that's why I was confident just stepping ahead, holding onto the leash, and she had to take the plunge forward. And as you can tell, she didn't panic or anything. So when you kind of push a dog a little bit like this and they don't panic, they get over it, it's crazy valuable for them. You get a dog that's panicky, that's a whole other conversation. We don't do that. But as you can tell, we do it over and over again. They learn to follow us. What I started doing is when Jane locked up a little bit, I was doing a quick tap, sometimes 2 quick taps at a lower level to kind of motivate her forward, to kind of unlock her. Not so low that it's more associated with calm down, not so high that it's a correction, just that sweet spot. So that's a little trick you guys can use with Ecollars sometimes. Doing the same thing with the leash. You're not correcting your dog, you might give them a couple tugs forward to kind of help unlock them.
Let's walk a little slower, like we're window shopping. Heel. Straight. We're gonna follow the trolley. How's he doing? A little better. Oh, dog. Tap. Yep, good. Good job. No, let's go. Good. Heel. Good. Scroll up. Heel. She sped up when she saw the dog. This is her heel. Very important in public that this is her heel.
Then we're headed to put her name in for the restaurant, and this is not the position that I want her to be in, a dog that snaps if people lean over her or oohs and ahs at her. In a tricky situation like this, she's behind me. I have 1 inch of slack. See, she moves her head right there. I'm on top of it because I can feel it through the leash. Now, Jane doesn't like anything overhead, and then she felt the pressure of the door. So I was trying to get her on the inside. It did not work. There was no one to hold the door. Chris was about to do it, but it just wasn't in time, and she never recovered till someone else came up to hold it open. But the reason I'm showing you this is because it didn't go my way. In fact, it was a little bit embarrassing. She was acting a little panicky. It felt worse than it was on the video. And I just wanted you guys to see that because I need you guys to get out there and be embarrassed by your dog. Get to know them, what's working, what's not working.
Okay, so I got my game face on. I've already had someone reach out to touch her while walking by. And like I said, nobody's catching me off guard tonight. So I've got the mindset. I've got a dog that doesn't like people in a very busy setting. So I said a firm no, and it was for both of them. And he sucked his hand back up real fast. Okay, so Chris has got some dog skills, but adolescent puppy patience is not one of them. So he came in heavily managing the leash, making Yotes 10 times worse. And what did we do?
Whatever you told me to.
Whatever I told him to, which is to cut him some slack and tap him. What were you at, like a 30? Just for heel. Just a surprise heel for a little bit of pushiness. And he has been walking beautifully ever since. He's trying. He is pushing it a little. Go ahead and tap at a lower level and say heel. There we go. Nice. Much better. Good job, buddy. Look at this heel. Little Miss Pro. Nope. Good. Too much concern. It's like every 3rd or 4th person that she does a sudden, oh my God, who is that? I'll tap the button. I'm at like a 6. Just to keep reiterating to her that she doesn't need to worry about people. She gets nervous of people coming up behind her.
Here's some video of me weaving. I have such little space here. I do a big hip shift in 1 step, and I kind of shift her leash. That's helpful. Then a kid, I move to the left, and now I move more to the left. Now I'm going to the right. So my point is where I was walking before. Like, that's my goal. I stay in the middle, and then I weave around everybody else. Like, that's my goal. That's how I want you guys to look at things, is that wherever you're walking, that's where you stay, and then you weave around things around you. Now, this is going to be a little different. I made her get back Did you guys see that? She's right next to me, which is honestly bad positioning for a dog like her. So that's why I had her move behind me more. Positioning with a dog that will react to people and dogs is everything. It's so important. If you're stationary, your dog has to be behind you a bit. That's why I stopped right here. It got too crowded. So I stopped, had her behind my body language a little bit. That's so necessary. Start to be hyper aware of your positioning with your dog if your dog has issues with humans. Or even severe reactivity, it's the same thing. Something like this, I definitely just opted to push them around me. Navigate your space. Don't be afraid to ask someone to go around you.
So this is not good.
Yeah, I'm thinking, how can I control her environment, our surroundings, basically people? How can I control people or a dog? That's what I'm showing you here. These are my moves. They're in my head. I practice them and I have a plan if someone comes up at any angle. And if that wasn't blocked off in front of me, there was people, I stick my leg out like that. It sends a message to people. It makes it so much easier. And then look what I can do. See, I can just kind of pull her back a bit if I need to. If you need to tell someone no, but you can't quite get in front of your dog, you got to have another plan. So it would be to back yourself and the dog up. Here's another example. I can position myself to step forward, or if someone comes up behind me and I can't see them, or just too fast in front of me, I can quickly move to the side or back. Now, you might have to be really firm with a more intense dog, but this will also let the person know you're not interested in having them pet your dog. They'll kind of straighten their back up, but you can do this little turn back in and smile at them and keep talking, kind of reset your dog while you're like, oh yeah, no, sorry, we're training. I don't let people pet her in public. Now, if you have a more intense dog or a really pushy person, that's when you do this right here. So look at all the options you've got when you go out in public with your dog. But here's the thing, your dog will not respond as well as she did to all of those movements if you don't practice them daily on your walks with low-level distractions, or just practice them. If they don't come to you instantly, like muscle memory, practiced working out, martial arts, cleaning your car, doing the dishes, if it's not muscle memory you've practiced, you'll never be able to use it this effectively when you really need it in that organic moment. Please keep that in mind about all of this. You got to go out and practice with your dog on a regular basis. It's too loud to hear the audio. So what I'm saying here is when you position your dog, remember this is a video about positioning. If she's underneath me, she could feel more protective of her space, not of me, of her space. And so I need to position her next to me where I can still easily block anything that I need to. Now with Yotzi, we can challenge him more because he's not going to bite someone that reaches out to him. And if a dog rushed him, he might jump up on them, but Chris could definitely prevent that before, any harm came. So we can challenge him more and have him out away from us a little bit more. I could challenge her more, Jane more, if she was doing so good and had muzzle on. Muzzle gives you a lot of freedom to play when your dog is ready. But I didn't have muzzle, and this really felt like a lot, and she was doing so good. So I thought that just what we were doing was more than challenge enough. If he got more insecure, all Chris would need to do is stand right here, kind of in the middle of Yotes and the scary trolley or the scary kid, whatever it is, to help him feel more protected and less anxious. But if we want to challenge him because it's mild, we kind of stay back a bit. When you're trying to further rehab your dog and their emotions and perceptions, what I just said, those decisions that you make, they're crucial. They have to have intention behind them. Is your intent to challenge your dog? Is your dog really struggling and you need to be the protector and in charge and have the leadership, not just energy-wise, but position-wise? Dogs see position a lot. Oh, look at that little dog. Anyway, guys, I hope that you gained a lot of insight from this clip. Gosh, I loved working with these two dogs.
So cute. So cute. Oh. No. Good job. That was fun. Off-leash little fluff ball. Look at him. He's like, was that a dog or a new toy? It was a dog. I hope you guys know it's a continuous battle with friendly dogs or nervous dogs to really work them in public and hang out with the purpose of being ready to say no if they lean out to invade someone else's space. We've had that happen several times with these two as people walk along this path, especially kids, and I am calmly just waiting to tap and say no. So they pull their nose back in and they don't invade space. I still have to give Dakota, my very friendly German Shepherd, tune-ups every now and then at this, because we don't go out, often where I'm constantly reiterating it. So when we do go out in a busy setting, I have to watch her the first few minutes and kind of set a tone with her. You don't invade people's space. Then if you have a dog that's reactive, it's great for confidence building and really helping your reactive dog understand that boundary that they won't touch you and you don't touch them. You got to practice it. You have to go out with the intent to practice it.
She settled into a down on her own here. I didn't want to make her because I didn't feel like it would be genuine. She pops up a lot, and once she laid down, I wanted her to feel that relaxation, getting more comfortable in the space, and I was so happy to see that she did do it on her own. You don't always have to do this with your dog. There are plenty of dogs I work with that I'm like, if I say lay down, you need to lay down. For me, it depends on the situation and the emotional level of the dog. This is just one of many examples of a guy looking at her and oohing at her, and me getting up to be in the middle, talking to him nicely. Also, I had accidentally tapped her foot here. That's why she got up. Then she got nervous of the fountain noise behind her, so I tapped Ecollar for that. So all these little things, they just kind of add up. Nervous person, then more nervous of noises. That's pretty normal. He was trying to jump away the next time we saw the trolley. It wasn't that kid. I tapped her no for hyper-focusing on the kid. But for Yotzi, there's another no. It was actually the trolley noise made him a little anxious, but he still, we saw 4 go by. That's how long we just hung out here waiting for our table. And that was really useful for him because he was pretty nervous at the trolley.
A tablecloth situation, because Chris is not as detail oriented as I am. I think the tablecloth is a great opportunity to work with Yotzi on his issue with tablecloths.
It's not a great opportunity for me.
You don't think so?
I don't want to deal with it.
You don't want to? Oh, okay. All right, fine. All right, fine. So we have crinkled the tablecloth and let them know why. Because of the puppy German Shepherd.
Because Yotzi started poking it with
his nose. Yeah. Like, oh. Which is a great opportunity to say no. And
I did say no.
Well,
yeah, and he stopped.
Okay, even here, even at a restaurant, I like to have the Ecollar up here. It is set at a 5. If she had to be out here, it'd probably be set to an 8, and I would only use it if I really thought I needed it. But it's set to a 5 because she's tucked here in the corner perfectly. What a good boy. Are you giving me kisses? I would pet you, but I can't when it's like this. I have to wait.
So Jane had 2 dogs. Yotzi and Jane saw 2 dogs walk by, and they did beautifully. But I did have to tap, and I felt like Jane was struggling, like she was getting a little amped up and like feeding off of the environment more than usual. She does that when she's at a table. It's a trigger for her. So I was able to make her face away from the opening and face towards the restaurant. And I'm glad I did, because we had another poodle rush up to us, and it was so easy to tell her no. Now, I didn't get video of her facing away from me, but I just did it with a little bit of leash guidance, horizontal in the opposite direction. She was a little confused at first, but once she settled down, she was fine. And I have to be honest with you guys. Look, Jane did so good. There's a dog here, but when we got up from the table, and I was distracted, a dog rushed us, and she reacted. It's gonna happen guys. It's going to happen. So be prepared. Have your safety precautions in place, which, Jane's little and manageable, so it's not as necessary. But guys, if you have a reactive dog and you take him into spaces like this, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Keep up the good work out there.